Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Good morning, and let's get started in here. And this is the education that we offer. It's daily and live analysis Monday, Tuesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Live trading with J Trader, Stocks Trader on Wednesday, and then Scapolsini live trading futures trader at 10 a.m. Thursdays. And then we have an educational course. So all of these live webinars and trading webinars, well, the trading webinars aren't based on the course, but the live analysis certainly is. So the concept is you have the course, have the live analysis to apply it in the live environment. We'll go through the same content. And then you have other traders using Bookmap to understand how they read order flow. All right, so we also have other traders. We have Tom B, a volume profile trader, looking specifically at volume profile. He'll start at 11:30 a.m. Later today, and that is daily. We also have a crypto trader, Rain, every morning at 8:30. These are all East Coast times here. All right, let's just go through the disclosures and we'll jump right in. General disclosure, all Bookmap limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in and take a look here. I've got quite a bit of data in here. I held my Bookmap open overnight, so you can see here the yesterday's session, and then now today's within that range. All right, so this is important. The highs, the lows here, pretty volatile session. Up, it's down, and we're at highs here for the last. I'll go over the bigger picture in a minute. We're looking now. We see the move here to the upside in the European open, and then here's our cash open now. Quite a bit of selling coming in right now. Okay, so looks like sellers are starting to move this market a bit to the downside, looking for a continuation now. So down to 24 and down to 20, 17, maybe 15. All right, let's see how that relates to. It relates very nicely, 17 especially, down here. So let's see if we can get enough sellers to try to reach this 20 level now. So I think, have we hit 24 yet? No. So 24 is first stop here, and it was this liquidity here. They've already kind of pulled some of that here. So yeah, still looking for it, and then looking for swing down here. And 20. Okay, so that's the quick analysis right now, and we have something I wanted to cover here, so I put it into the title: how to read who's in control of the price action. Okay, that's kind of a main topic I want to go over. We started to do that, I think, last Tuesday, and I wanted to continue. All right, and why we think price is going to go down to 24, which is already done, and 20. Okay, so this has already been, like, by reading the order flow, by understanding the context of the participants via their actions with orders. That's what order flow reading is all about, and that's what we're doing in here, and that provides an edge. So even we don't know what price is going to do. However, we know that the behavior of the participants, and that's what we're reading here. And if we read it objectively, most of the time the reads work out well to where price might go next. Now you can see we got to 24 and we're getting a bit of a bounce, but we're still in a downtrend here. Okay, until we see something different, and something different is starting to kind of materialize. There was high liquidity here on the offer. They pulled, they added more on the bid here instead, and we're finding buyers now. Okay, so let's just go over a simple concept then. With a read here in this order flow, we're looking for 24. That was when we started here. here's 10 o'clock back here. You know, maybe we started looking at it somewhere around in here, and there's 4 S&P points right there. Now, just because it's 4 S&P points, that doesn't matter. This is what we want to cover, is we're looking for here, and you can start to consider trade management around this read of the order flow. Now, this is not a trade recommendation room, so basically these are just ideas to consider for your trading. So for example, if you're a short, you're looking for the continuation into 24, you could take some off. All right, and you can hold the rest. You can put your stop to break even, and you would have gotten stopped out at break even. That's fine, and at least that's acceptable for many traders. Let's put it that way. If there's many different ways to manage it, that's just one consideration. All right, now let's take a look at what's going on now. Okay, well, we're still in a downtrend. Look at the, you know, we had 10 o'clock here. We had some data. You can see this pull of liquidity around this event here. And we just went up above here and tested above these swings here. But this is where the bigger swing took place. Okay, so that's what we're watching. Now, we came back up here. This is a pretty, you know, nice move back up, and some pretty strong buy volume up here too, into high liquidity here, right? But we're still in the bigger, well, in this medium time frame picture after the data release, we are still in a downtrend. Okay, it just broke here, so now we want to see if we're going to continue on up, or are we going to continue on down, and that's going to be the read right now. Right, so who's in control on this very small time frame? Well, buyers took control here. Okay, after it hit 24, buyers took control. Right, so I move back up to 35 here and high liquidity here, and on the higher time frame, or if we zoom out just a little bit, this is where the sellers took control. Okay, after the data release. All right, and they are now being tested by the buyers. All right, so let's see if we can maybe get even more buyers back up here. Okay, the next level would be around here, 38, and it's going to take some buying to get up there and get through all these sellers here. But we know one thing is up here, there's going to be some stops. Anyone that's short in here is likely going to be placing stops up here. We already see a stop run here, so maybe those kind of at break even from this move on down, or not necessarily break even, but placing their stops in here. They've already been triggered. Okay, so let's continue on with this read. All right, so we came up here, nice swing up to where it dropped from. Okay, so in control here, buyers on this smaller time frame. We need to see if they can continue. Okay, what about this a little bit higher time frame? Well, we still made a lower high here. So if we see this trend line break, or let's just say this level break, okay, also here, this level here around 33. Okay, if we see sellers below that, likely they're going to test back down to this swing or these areas down here, and then maybe where they initiated the move here as well. Okay, so we have some levels to look at here. All right, now what's the order flow around that? Well, right now it's looking pretty bullish here. Look at the bid. Okay, they're bidding up in this area here. All right, we're finding buyers here. Okay, this is good, but they are on the offer here too. So there's a battle kind of starting to wage here. All right, let's zoom in a little closer. So we're just trying to get some insight here of the condition of the orders. Yeah, it looks good on the buy side. They're pulling here. We're finding our buyers. Should be able to make it up to 36.5. There we go. And let's see them break out and hit up here to 38.5 or 38.25. And then look for our stop run maybe into 40 up here. All right, so here's our first move. Still, we want to see the break here of this 38 here. And then we're looking for our stops up and above 38. Okay, into 40 basically. Yeah, you can use cumulative volume delta also to help understand who's in control. I would be careful with that though because of divergences. You know, like here we know it, right? And I mean, you know, you can kind of determine it also on your candlestick chart in the same way. But here, what we're looking for in Bookmap, see, they can't get above 38, right? Right now, and this is the important swing here. Okay, sellers come streaming in, so these guys are still in control basically. This is an important distinction. Okay, from here on, right? So now buyers in control here and here, and then on the small time frame they are out of control now. Okay, it's already below them. Okay, we might get a retest back up here, and we might see more buying back up, and this is our pivot line here. How many times have we seen that? But I'm curious. This is a pretty strong move. I'm actually looking for more sellers now to come in. Our first level at 30. There's liquidity down here, and then the next level would be probably around this kind of 27 area here that we marked up. All right, so here's why. Let's take off stops and icebergs for just a minute and put cumulative volume delta on. Okay, so this is cumulative volume delta in the subchart here, yeah, see how this kind of nicely shows who's in control here. But when you have this kind of move in here into high liquidity and it's absorbed by the selling here, limit sell orders, well, this makes things a little more difficult to read in the cumulative volume delta, right? It's still popped and it made a higher high. Price made a higher high, so it's not really divergent, but you know what I mean. And in fact, if we want to make an example of it, we can zoom into an area like this, and let's find a better example. Yeah, kind of challenged to find a good example at the moment. Yeah, I mean, these guys are still in control on cumulative volume delta here as well. But you'll see, like, sometimes the, you know, if I can just find a really simple example. I mean, here, you know, you're looking at sellers being in control, it hitting into this high liquidity here, but price really didn't move that much. It did move down. Okay, but there's a lot more selling in here, but they're being absorbed here at this price level, which stopped it from moving. That's where, like, you're going to get a divergence. Okay, so sellers hitting the bid, but not being able to take price lower. Okay, so you're going to see that, and you're going to think, wow, these guys are in control, you know, look what happened here, right? We get to move back up. All right, so just be careful with that. That's the beauty and kind of the problem here with the indicator, is well, there's other problems with the indicator, but it is what it is. I mean, it's a really straightforward indicator, and its kind of bluntness is, I think it's beauty. It's so simple and straightforward. It's just buy minus sell plotted. Buy minus sell plotted. Therefore, divergences are really easy to spot, because if price stops and they continue to hit into high liquidity, but price stops, you get a divergence. That's just one way to look at it. There's other ways. There's negative divergence. You know, maybe you see price spike up, but you don't see cumulative volume delta really spike up. Okay, so Anyway, we had our move back down. Boy, this is kind of a bit of a challenging read. We're right back up here again. We just came down to this swing, okay? And in fact, let's just take a look at this. In fact, from the who's in control in this move here, well, I mean, yeah, they kind of started in here, and maybe this is kind of a false breakdown below here, or the swing here. It did not break that swing, and now we're seeing the buyers come right back in. Okay, now this is where we're looking for it to break. Okay, we should see the break higher above our 38. We got to get to 38, but that we're looking for the move to 38 here. We're seeing buying pressure come in. We're seeing a lot of green dots in here. The bid looks good, starting to pull a little bit on the offer. Let's see the buyers try to reach back to 39 and 40 now. Okay, this is yeah, I would say that is more likely now at this point. Here we are at 38, still looking for higher. Okay, so now they're had to kind of regroup and retest back up here, and now we're looking for the continuation. All right, so that's the smaller time frame move. Let's zoom out a bit more and put this into context. Okay, well, this can turn into a nice higher time frame move now too. It has all the possibilities here. Okay, pretty strong volume, looking for 40, and maybe even higher here. Maybe we can get a quicker move up into this liquidity around 44 or 45, kind of a zone up in here. And this is strong, right? This is kind of checking. It would be better. It would be better to see bigger green dots here, but it looks to me like the buyers want to move it away from this area here. Okay, now there's a few caveats that we have to be kind of aware of. One is this is the high, okay, and we just kind of poked above it, okay, around 38. Secondly, was what I had mentioned previously, was this in here. We can already see the retest here, but look at this heavy selling in here. So, you know, we want to see strong, consistent buying, moving the market away from a value area. That's what it takes to move away from a value area. So this whole area in here, for example, and all of that selling where they took control, okay, we need to see pretty strong buying. Like this over here, if we look at this type of selling here, and this move to the downside, that's what we want to see here to the upside. Okay, and we can see that it's just not quite as strong. So it's a graphical representation of the volume in the dots here, the size of and color of the dots, and that's what we're looking at in here, trying to determine. Now we know this is data here as well, so you know, an economic release, and then this here is more technical right now. Okay, so let's take a look and see what kind of stop runs we got there, because we were anticipating a stop run. We didn't get too much. We didn't get too much out of it. It did do a stop run, not much though. Okay, the nicer one was down here before it got up to the swing. All right. Good morning, McLoco. Super bullish today. 2250 on your radar. All right. Or 4250. Is that what you're? Yeah. Good morning, Jeff. Okay. Yeah, 4250. Super bullish, and 2250 would be super bearish. All right, so let's see here. Any other questions? Oh, okay, David, you're watching this on the Roku every day. Great. All right. So anyway, let's take this concept further. We'll go through in more depth here since we're kind of on a roll with it. and understand, you know, who's in control in certain areas here. And it's this one here. But yeah, you know, I thought we'd get the move up into 40, and we were like a tick shy, it looks like. And then, you know, this might fail here. This very well might fail now. But we're reading this in here, and it was like, yeah, you know, they should be able to pop it up into there. And maybe it can really pick up once we get back up and start to see some stops triggered here. And it didn't. Okay, it didn't. And that's fine. We did have a couple of caveats, and you know, that's what we want to determine here by who's in control. And we can take this, it's very fractal. You can look at lower time frames, higher time frames, doesn't matter. You can look at like the lowest time frames. It is still the same idea, the same concept. Here, buyers in control here, sellers bring it down. Do we get more buyers back up here? Nope. Okay, so now we should be able to, if we can get some sellers down here, and we did get a few, they should be able to bring it down to maybe 34 and a half or 34 and a quarter. Okay, so here we go, starting to auction down. It should be able to drop it. Okay, not much selling down here, countered by some buying. A little more selling, a little more right here at 35, and then we should get the move into 34 and a quarter. Okay, so same concept, same process we're going through here. By reading the orders in here, the transactions, and now we got to get our sellers here. If we don't get our sellers here, buyers will come in and they'll move it probably back to 36 and a half or 3/4. Okay, and we have the possibility, there we go, so we have the possibility now for this to turn into a bigger move too. Okay, not just down to 34 and a half or 34 and a quarter, right? That we can, you know, see this drop quite a bit more, down to like yeah, well, the guys took control here somewhere around this kind of 33 area, but also 31 and below. Okay, so yeah, in fact, this is some pretty big selling, looking for it to move then. Right, let's see it, sellers. If you're going to take control of this, you've got to move it down to here, and that's what we're looking for. Okay, and there's another piece in here we're looking for. We're reading not just the price structure, and now, so right now we're kind of anticipating sellers to take control. Right, now let's take a look at this read here. Did they really take control here? I don't know. This looks pretty good in here. This doesn't look so good. The points move is good, but you know, that just means that we can see buyers come streaming right back into where it dropped from here. Okay, because there's not a whole lot of selling in here. We want to see sellers moving it away from that area. Okay, now they're starting to come in. Now it's looking a little bit better. Okay, does that make sense? This is, you know, not really your typical kind of education about candles and indicators. You know, what we're reading here is the participants. Now, see that scenario just played out. Okay, and it also opens the door here that these are sellers. They're going to be buyers up in here. They'll be compelled to buy. We should see stops triggered on the way up into 38, into 39, and we can get probably to 40 here if we get enough buyers. Okay, so this dropped 3 points, 3.5 points, 33 or 34.5 down to like 31.5, 3 points basically. We've noted in these moves here that we need strong selling, and 2 to 3 points is kind of a barrier. If you can get over 3 points, you know, 4 or 5, that means that we're likely going to be moving away from this previous area here. We're covering a lot of stuff in here, and I know it's contextual, but we want to understand, you know, what exactly we're looking for. The more clarity in exactly what we're looking for, the more clarity in the move here. So, you know, they did move it back up here, and then they actually, the buyers did have the potential, the possibility up here. They're just letting these guys out now. Okay, so we see some stop runs here. It's not that big, but we do see, you know, the stops up above this little area here. But we're looking for a really big stop run. Okay, something like this one over here. And we're not getting that right now. You can see some iceberg buying in here. Anyway, this concept is not unique in the sense that, you know, volume profile. This is something you're looking for in your market and volume profile, your single prints, all that kind of stuff, where you get a big profile and then you get a break and you have very little trading. Even that's when price is really moving, and then it kind of slows down and creates another profile, and you have a trending day pattern. Okay, do we have that today? Absolutely not. This is quite a pretty profile, in fact, well, this is maybe a couple days here, right? So let me zoom out for just today. Yeah, so today's actually isn't quite as pretty as 2 days here. So yeah, it has a skew here to the upside. I mean, here's your tail down here. Here's your P-shaped. So any questions on this, like understanding the like who's trying to take control here, and in this level here, like, well, the sellers really started up here, and in this move they're still in control basically. Okay, on this time frame, you know, from about 10, 22 or 23 onward, and that's what we're reading. Okay, let's zoom out. What about the bigger picture? Well, these guys kind of got upended, but it did not accept above that area, but it did break it. It did break it. It came back in though. Here we go. Look at that reaction to liquidity here. We got our buyers here. Top of the range. Here we go again. Okay, buyers should be able to reach up here, not just to 38, but 39 and 40. Okay, we need to see a bit more buying in here, and we want to see more action on the bid here, that they're bidding up. And you know, otherwise this is how they get these back and forth days. It's like, yeah, they try, they stretch up here, and not enough buying, and sellers come in and pound it right around this area here at 35 and a quarter, and then very easily be able to reach back down into these lower levels because there's not a whole lot of liquidity in here. Okay, let's see if we get our buyers here in the skew in that order book on the bid. We got some buyers, no bid though. Oh yeah, Leishram, the passive orders have a tremendous influence in here. Tremendous. Here, let's just see if we see it right here. Here, these guys coming in, reaction was sellers. Okay, let's see if they actually maybe we flip, maybe we see them pull, maybe they add on the bid. Nope, they actually pulled here, added more here, found more sellers, right? This move didn't really start to take place. I mean, here it did, but it continued when these guys came in. Okay, so now bottom of the range. Even more here. Now let's see what the reaction to that is. Now see how they took them on, and now they flipped. Okay, great. Let's see if we can get these sellers here upside down. Watch the bid here. They're pulling here. They should pull here at 39 as well, and we should hit 40, right? Look for the bid to flip here, or more on the bid here, and then at this area, lack of sellers and then more buyers here. This is setting up very nicely. Just need to find a bit more on the bid here. Pulling up here, adding and pulling. Okay, let's see if we get it here. On the bid, looking for that bid, and let's see if we get some buyers pulling. There they go, a bit, just a bit. It's not much. See, we're really kind of squinting our eyes here looking at it. It should be clear. And when the order flow is clear, it's just it's an easy read, right? So we didn't get it. We got actually kind of the opposite here. And even that one's not much. We had sellers and they kind of lowered it in here, and we tested back down to this lower level here. So let's zoom out and see what's going on here. Very choppy in here. It continues to, you can see it's trading up here, it's trading down here, it's trading up here. Will this be a false breakdown, or is it going to trade down here? Okay. We have the potential for that false breakdown here. And let's see if we get buyers in here. And let's skew in the order book again, and then right back up to 38. There they go. All right, so now they're pushing it here, looking for the continuation. We see the bid looks better here. See, it looks better there. See, it looks better here. We're finding our buyers. Great. We should hit 40 now. We've been waiting for this move up into 40. It's been back and forth in here, let's see it. Let's see it, buyers. They made a higher high here, but just by a couple ticks. Well, they can't do it. All right, this looked pretty good right in here for that potential. More on the bid would have been great, but we had it. Would have see we're looking for this kind of liquidity. This in the order book here, up in this area up here. That's where it's just higher probability. Okay, so anyway, let's see if they can come right back here. And they need to take control above these guys at 37 here. Okay, let's see a few more questions in here. Yeah, well, it's a good point, Leishram, that you bring up here. We're going to cover the heat map later today in an event at 2 p.m. East Coast time. I can show you here on Discord. It's in our Discord channel. Yeah, we'll have a YouTube event as well. Sorry, let's get back up here again. It's under here, and here's the event. Okay, so looking at the heat map here. Okay, so look for that. And we'll go over an exercise in here, like, you know, really get into the nuances of reading the heat map. So what happened here? It did both. Actually, we got our false breakdown here, moved back up, and then it broke down. So this is really kind of choppy environment in here. Came right back up into these guys. Okay, so let's see what's happening here. Okay, sellers have moved at 3 points already. Pretty strong volume. Pretty strong. Just looking to see if we get maybe a, you know, are they trying to move it here, or is it going to be a false breakdown again above 33? So if we see our buyers back up above 33, then looking for back up to the swing here, and then 40, back to 40. Yeah, Rob, I'm with you on that. You haven't really seen anything you want to commit to at this point. Yeah, Kevson trader as well. I agree. Even trying to determine who's in control here, it looks like sellers are going to take it here. Like they've moved at 3, now they're trying to move it away from this area now too. But being kind of careful here, but it looks pretty good. Our next level is down here at 27, and then the swing low here around 23. And you know, here's our bigger picture, or at least on since 10 a.m. in the data here. On the bid is pretty strong at 30, or on the offer is pretty strong at 35, and we're finding our sellers in here. Great. All right, so they should be able to move it then, move it away from this area here. All right, so we had to go through all this back and forth in here, and looking for continuation. Okay, now it's moved more. It's moved you know, from 29, from 33 to 29, so 4 points. Okay, now we're getting into something. Yeah, we've seen this many times. Buyers may come back in and whip it right back up here, but it's starting to create a new area here, and that's what we want to know. Like here, is it creating this new area? Okay, great. And then, you know, you're looking for potential shorts up in here. Okay, or in you know, if it's really strong, you know, the potential short would have been right here. Because stronger moves, shallower pullbacks to areas of high volume nodes or high liquidity here. So anyway, yeah, I'm with you guys, both Rob and Kevson. But we got to go through the order flow reading regardless. We're just looking for something higher probability when all these kind of pieces align and give us just the orders are telling us. And right now it's we're still kind of squinting at it, trying to get something out of it. But I would say the move is likely to the downside here. That's what the orders are telling us, but it's just not that strong. So how do you handle something like that? Well, don't trade, or trade, reduce your size quite a bit. And you can do that with minis or micros, I'm sorry. You can look for that. It's interesting. We have, quite a bit of data in here from yesterday as well. So that's good. And you can see, like, really who's in control here. Well, at the end of the day, up here around this 42.50, the sellers certainly took control. Here's the pullback, and then here's the continuation. Now, the pullback happens in this area here where it kind of pulled back as well here. This becomes that pivot point here. And we mark this up for today at 40, and that's why we're seeing reactions around it, around this 40 level. So we want to see if we can break it, and so far we cannot. Okay, so this is that top of the range. So we just covered this scenario here. Now, and this was a potential just pullback here. And now let's see if we drive away from this area again. Okay, so at least to move back down to the point of control of this little area in here, which is basically here or here. It's quite low. So yeah, we'd be looking for the retest back down to there. And then if we can get enough selling down there, then we'll get another move. And that would be like this. Now you can see, like, yeah, this one, like, yeah, I would have taken a shot at it here, looking for the continuation, but I'd be stopped out at break even right now. All right, and then just look for the next one. Okay, and then now it's starting to play out. This would be your pullback or your breakdown trade here. Yeah, I don't know. I still don't really like it. It's looking better here. See the selling starting to mount down here. See them pulling here. But yeah, still not convinced here. Looking better again. More selling down here. Okay, but let's zoom in a little closer. We want to see the selling here, right? Not exhaustion there. Okay, a little bit of selling there. Not bad. Sellers got it here. They've got it. The bid, there's a little bit on the bid here. That's good. So here we go. Some selling coming in. That was short-lived. Yeah, and it's just in relationship to the other volume in here, it's a little bit less than this is. We want to see really sellers move it away. Not quite getting it yet. Okay, one more shot. Sellers, you got it if you want it. Looks like if they've got enough selling pressure here, they should be able to move this into a new zone here. So we're looking for kind of a quick move below the swing here. Now, here's what happened. Okay, we get another rotation back up. It still may do it, but this is kind of a double bottom pattern we look at. Some sellers here, lack of sellers here, buyers come in, and we have an order book flip as well. It's just really it's really back and forth here. It still may do it here. So it's a hard read. I mean, we gotta go through the reading, and I would still give the nod here to the sell side, just due to the structure in here and the sellers in here. There we go. High liquidity. Let's see the reaction to it. Driving price away. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, see the buyers went after it here. 29. So see how that just convolutes the whole situation here. We don't want to see that. We want to see that this high liquidity on the offer here, it repelled buyers, not attracted them. Right? So it's just not as clean a read, a clearer read, and that's that. That's the situation. JK, yes, the market orders, they're the ones that move price. Absolutely. They are very, very important. No, there's no question, and there's no debating that. There's another side though, and it is, I mean, technically, the limit buy and sell orders cannot move price technically. Okay, they certainly influence it heavily, but they can't move it. So you see that they can absorb price and keep price from moving though, and that's what we're looking at, is this relationship here. Okay, and it's supply and demand. Okay, that you get more here on the offer, and there's a lot of supply, and well, what do the aggressors think of it? Do they want it? Is it an attraction? Is this longer term high liquidity that's already been kind of digested in the marketplace, and this is a target for them? They want to go for it and reach those levels. We can see that in stocks, for example. If we look at Apple, stocks trade a little differently. High liquidity comes in at 9:30 a.m. here at these price levels, and they're just saying, you want to be a buyer or you want to be a seller. I'm sorry, buyers, if you want to meet my sell orders, I'm up here. Okay, they took them on here. They came back in with some more actually, but they're up here. Okay, the sellers are down here at 170. Well, yeah, this is 11 a.m. East Coast time. Almost 11 a.m. I mean, it's live, so wherever you are, I mean, this is live webinar. Let me get to some of the questions in Discord. Smash the like button with your face. All right. Seems like a gap fill today. Yeah, we haven't taken a look at the higher time frame. Hussam, yeah, we'll do that. I wanted to go through who's in control, and then it's like, it was not a great market environment for determining who's in control today, because it's just not as visual. And there's just time frames where it's being upended on all of them, in fact. So. And that's not something. Maybe I had expectations of too high. Look at yesterday here. you know, and we're in the middle. This is like an inside day so far. So, you know, who's in control this is not the right day to go over this, really. But the concept is the same. So let's take a look here and zoom out in our higher time frame, and we can go through it. Okay, so now on our higher time frame, we'll look at some candlesticks here. On the left hand side, we have the daily for the ES, the hourly, and then we have the 15 minute or 5 minute here. Let's turn it into a 15 minute. 15 minute here on the and these are regular trading hours. That's why you see the gaps. All right, so let's take a look here. All right, well, who's in control over here? Right, we've been covering this for some weeks now, or several sessions. The sellers, see, out of this range here, see this range up here, there's no question about who took control. Sellers, and they moved it away very, very quickly from this area here, and then they moved it even below this swing down here, and look where it came back and retested a few times. Anyway, the point is they are in control from basically somewhere around in here onward, and then you know, as the summer progressed through July, we get all this back and forth here, and then end of July here, or kind of mid-July, to the end of July, buyers took initiative above the range here, and this could be a false breakout on the daily and then back into the range, but it bounced off of where it broke out from, and we found more buyers. We made a higher high, so they are starting to take control in here. So we look for, and I think we covered it. Let's see, this is no, I didn't get back until August 1st, and that would be up here. So anyway, yeah, so we would look though for the move back up to the bottom of this range, or back up into the pointy control of this little range up here, or if there's even more buying pressure, back up into these sell wicks where they came in. And that's what we were looking for, because this was strong. These were some strong days here. So come August 1st, it's like, well, even before what I left on vacation here, we were looking for the potential move back up into this area here, and then we drew this line in Monday, August 1st, thinking, okay, look, this is a strong move. We should see them tested up here, because it blew through this one already. In fact, that became a support area here. And so we know, anyway, the point is sellers in control, buyers testing that control here, and now the follow through. Okay, they got above the wicks. They are still in control. Okay, buyers are in control on this time frame here. We're looking at just 3 months of the daily chart here for the ES. All right, so just to make the point. Now let's go over to the daily though, or the hourly in here. Right, well, here the buyers have control, pullback, they still have control, consolidation, higher highs, higher lows, still have control, higher highs, higher lows, they still have control. All right, so still seeing that even on the big pullback the other day. You know, they're still in control above this area here. Right, so that's kind of what we're reading. Let's read today's action in here. Okay, yesterday's and today's. Here's yesterday's. We had the gap up, the gap fill. Okay, beautiful gap fill. We would anticipate there to be some buying wicks down in here, or even here, top of this range. And we did at the end of the session, and then we had the gap up today. Okay, where did the gap go to test these wicks up in here? So, you know, the concepts are exactly the same as what we're looking at in here in Bookmap, in the order flow. We just have much deeper insight here because we know the transactions. We have the graphical representation with the size and color of the dots, and then we also have the heat map. And now the heat map, this is where it's really helpful. You know, where are they bidding, where are they offering, and just to demonstrate that is. Here, we're gonna clear the drawings here. just to demonstrate that, we can look at you know, today's action here. Okay, here we have the news here at 10 a.m. Where did price go? Right, it went right into liquidity, and it stopped and kind of bounced here. Okay, and then these guys stayed in the order book here. They wanted to be buyers here. There's no question about that. Even with the volatility of the numbers, you know, that doesn't matter. You know, they are still in here. Now, you know, it's up to you, like, you know, how much, you know, you put into, like, how important is the University of Michigan consumer sentiment. You know, do you consider that a really important event? Well, you know, you can see the volatility in here, put it that way. And anything with regards to interest rates at this point or consumer sentiment is kind of sensitive for the stock indexes. Anyway, the point is, we went down into high liquidity down in these areas here. Now this is where we see the swing tested. Look at the bid, strong bid. What's the reaction to the bid? Well, finally, it took a little while in here for that bid, but we finally got the aggressors to listen, or to the bid, and they start to buy and then start to move it away from this area here, right in here. Okay, so we'd be looking for them to trade back up to this liquidity up here, or some of these swings in here, yeah, you know, somewhere around in here. Probably first one would have been here, which they already did. Second one is here, and then, yeah, somewhere around in this area in here. Okay, so now did we get there? Let's take a look. Now it kept on testing up here. That's as far as it went. Okay, and finally it did. It had to come all the way back down here to this liquidity to find buyers again, and then we repeat that same pattern here on the bid, finding buyers up to high liquidity up in these areas here. Okay, so, you know, showing the intent of buyers and sellers in the order book has a real effect on. I mean, it just makes sense. Okay, if this is an auction, then what we're let's see here, scalping strategy. I'll get to your question, but sorry, I'm just elaborating on this one here. It was a question about you know, how much validity does this have, and it has tremendous impact on the market. Okay, so let's take a look now. Well, on the bid here. Okay, now did they kind of pulled on the offer here, finding buyers. Okay, then yeah, let's see if we can get to 38, and we're back to our 40 level here yet again. We had to come all the way back down here, and now we're looking for our 38 and our 40. Okay, look at the buying pressure come in here. There is enough buying pressure to get here to 38. The liquidity here is at 38. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Okay, we want to see the bid add more. They're adding some in here. Okay, it's kind of bluish in here. Okay, they can zip down here very, very quickly. That's why we want to see, it's better when we see higher liquidity in here, and the reaction be buyers. Okay, so here we go. Here's our 38, and let's see. Let's just zoom out and let's take a look at the reference here. Is there enough buying pressure in here? It's not. It's kind of equal to all of this back in here. It may move up into 40, but it, you know, it's and this is pretty strong buying and consistent buying here. So yeah, you know, 40 looks pretty good. There we go. Oh, there it is. Oh, finally we get it. All right, now question is this where we're going to see the bigger move? From here on up to, McLoco was looking for 42.50. This is how these moves evolve. Okay, so yeah, it's pretty strong buying. Okay, well, that much we know. They flipped on the bid here. All right, so all right, let's see if we can get here to, we're getting a pullback. We want it, this is a strong move, so shallow pullback. These can be little considerations for entry points in here for your pullback. Okay, or here, this is another one, obviously through 40. And they're on the bid here at 40. And another one would be, the last one would probably be back down into here. Okay, where it broke out from. All right, well, they're on the bid here. What's the reaction? Sellers are taking them on, actually. They trade into them. Okay, so what about here? What about at our 40 level? Do sellers take them on? They actually kind of pull. So where are we finding buying interest? Well, we see it coming in here, and that we're looking for this move, potential move down to here. Okay, well, we got it. All right, so let's be honest about this here. Like this move here was looking pretty good. We had the caveat in here was that we we were looking at the reference in here. We want to see the big green dots pulling this up, and what it was a stop run. That was the big green dots in here, and you can see it right here. We were looking for this like an hour ago or something, right? We finally got the move through it, and then now we're looking for the pullbacks in here. Okay, and trying to kind of understand where are the buyers and where we might get a bounce out of that area, since they took control here. The buyers took control. And we also would have to kind of address this move in here. There's a lot of stops in here. That's likely, stop losses to exit. So are we finding new buying above our 40 level? That's a big question. And we can determine this. We can look at, I like the way JTrader had this, or Scott yesterday had this, looking at the stops and icebergs on chart, as well as the sweeps. Okay. It's just loading here. All right, let me get back to some of these questions. Okay, yeah, we can determine who's in control in a range as well. This breakout in here, so we just covered that, in fact. Okay, so God, that's a really nice stop run. My God, 11, basically 1100. So in this range in here, we've been covering this. Actually, we've been answering that question. Buyers are in control. Now, what are the condition of these buyers in here? That's where it gets really interesting. Condition of the buyers in here, we're not so sure about, because although we see the buyers in control now, and it's accepting here in this range, right? So they remain in control. That answers your question. You know, I would love to. There's where to grab it exactly in the points. We'll just go with our 38, I guess here. But yeah, and we'll stick with that. You know, maybe here as well, but yeah, I like the 38. That's kind of what we were looking at earlier before we hit 40. So it was the top of that range. Right. So now, so that's the kind of the insight that you're getting here, that you know that there's a lot of stops in here. There's icebergs on the other side as well, absorbing even more in here. Right. So this is something that we want to really kind of be somewhat careful about here, about this breakout. The question is, after the breakout, the event has been the breakout and the stop run. Now, what about it after that? Does it still accept above in this area where, you know, we see these buyers come in? So far, so good. You know, we see it. Okay, so that I hope answers your question with some warnings in there as well about understanding, well, you know, this isn't all new buyers coming in here. A lot of them are not. They're exiting. If you use okay, so scalping strategy, if you use a 15-minute time frame, do all levels, heat map will be the same as what shows on the current chart. I mean, the heat map is showing the record of the limit sell orders over time. So the 15-minute chart, yeah, I mean, this will change. The heat map will change in color when we zoom. What Bookmap does is it takes the area of the highest liquidity in here and it will scale it. So it's like you know, someone in math class, that someone always breaks the curve, right? He's way above the normal, and you know, he gets like 100% on his math test, where everyone else is getting like 70%. If he wasn't in there, the curve would be a lot easier. So it's referential, basically, is what I'm trying to get at here. So if we zoom out and there's another area of very high liquidity, you'll see that shift and change the order book colors, but they don't. The numbers don't change. It's just the graphical representation. Okay, scalping strategy. I hope that answers your question. Okay, you want to look at Apple and Amazon? We can take a quick look. Okay, Noel, sometimes liquidity acts as a target. Yes, that's what we want to determine, is that relationship and context between the aggressors. Okay, and typically, all right, so let's go through, and you know, we're going to go through that this afternoon. See this lower lower time frame? It just popped into the order book here and here, right? So we're getting a little bit of volatility in here and here, right? And they just pulled. These, all of a sudden, these skews in the order book, it's kind of like, you know, something very, very quickly changed here. And this is likely the same player. He pulled here, added up here, pulled here, added down here. Okay, watch him come in again, you know, probably up here. These little these are big changes, but they're very close to the price. And in general, it depends. It's hard to even say in general. It depends. But what we want to read here is the context of the aggressors. Did they want it? Did they go after it? And that shows buying pressure. Did they trade into it? Did these guys stay in the order book? Did they transact? And if they transacted, was there still more buying pressure above it? Okay, I'm going to turn off sweeps. There we go. And you know, that's what we're trying to determine in here. Look, see the reaction in here? Now he pulled though. So initially, great pop. Maybe is it potential manipulation to move it up into 41? Fill this guy here. Yep. Did he get icebergs filled in here? No, I don't really see any, maybe a few. So, that's where the ice stops and icebergs can be really helpful to understand the relationship not only between the aggressors and liquidity here, but are people front running it and using hidden orders as well. It's another level of detail here. See, look at this skew. Now watch, does he pull? Watch him pull. So it just broke out, and now it's a potential for a false breakout. Okay, he pulls and adds lower, right? So this is what's been making it difficult for us to read here. He's coming in, he's pulling. Well, if this is the situation, then it's just gonna be this back and forth kind of mess in here, which is exactly what it is. Trying to determine like who wants to get filled in some of these areas in here. So yeah, I hope this is making it clear. Now let's take a look at stocks. Okay, is there any question about the longer term high liquidity in here? Okay, and now the buyers went after it. They finally went after it. You could have read that in here. This was kind of a hard read in here because they're adding and pulling liquidity even on higher time frames. But here we traded into it. They transact because we see the big green dot and they trade above it. This is what we're looking for in the S&P. And a lot of times it's easier to read in stocks. Look at that. Look at how clean that is. Okay. You can even see it kind of down here. It pulls back, stronger, but to the point of control here. So the point of control is kind of the last gasp, basically. Maybe it breaks out, but it doesn't break out above this area. Maybe it breaks and retests down to the point of control and then accepts higher, right? So here's your test into 71. And there you go, right? There's your longer term high liquidity that acted as an attractor for the buyers to come to. And that should be helpful for you to understand the distinction. Okay, let me know. We'll cover it more this afternoon. In fact, we'll go through turning off the volume dots and reading it. Okay, I hope I'm answering your question. Scalping trader, did I answer your question? Or scalping strategy? Okay, so we covered Apple. That's the only stock I have right now. I close a lot because I have a lot of data in here. So sorry about that. But I had Apple and Amazon and Nvidia open this morning. And it was like, yeah, this is becoming a little too much. And I got all these different softwares running to project Bookmap right now. I just hear my CPU acting up, so I'm gonna kind of tread lightly here. Alexa, welcome, first time listener. No, I mean, I'm not. If you're volume profile trader, you might want to hang out after this webinar. In another 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, we have Tom B, volume profile trader. He'll be up next. Okay, you can ask him a bunch of questions. So he'll be reading order flow within the volume profile and market profile, more volume profile. Hecker boy, yeah, I'm in New York City, so you're in Pakistan. Welcome. Yeah, CPU is knocking on heaven's door. Yeah, it's acting up. There's a lot of data points in here. Anyway, this is illustrating what we're trying to go through and this answers another question here about who's in control in Apple. I mean, clearly, right? I mean, there's no question. Okay, now, and I was trying to cover this in the S&P. Now we'll probably go back to the S&P and it's moving, right? Because Apple's sure moving. Anyway, what I want to cover though is like the pullbacks in here. Where do these pullbacks go to? Well, there's kind of a smaller range in here, you know, and we look at these kind of structural areas that price action creates. Here's one, here's another one, here's another one. Now here's the breakdown, but it's still bullish. For it to be bullish though, this is precisely what we're looking for. Buyers back up to the swing here. Okay, now what about up here? Well, I see sellers up here. And then we didn't test into this liquidity here at 171.10. Now we may, but it doesn't look very good right now. Okay, if we see a lack of sellers here and we start to see some buying, maybe right around in here, okay, around 71.03, yeah, then more than likely we'll trade up to here. Okay, but we don't see a lot of buyers here either, right? So okay, if that's the case, then where are sellers going to take it? Well, first level is probably going to be down into this little area right here. We look for liquidity on the offer as well, here, or even back down to here. Okay, so anyway, that's kind of the read of the order flow there. Let's go back to the S&P and see what's going on. Yeah, we haven't done much. We were looking at this area in here. I'm sorry, we did a bunch. We did do a bunch. We did break out, and we did see the continuation here. Boy, timing hasn't been good this week. Kind of turn our heads and just look at something else, and then we're starting to get our moves here. Okay, well, still looking for a continuation. Another stop run here to the upside, huge one here. Now this is another really good point here. We left off on this move in here. Okay, looking for this to, you know, continue 428 or 4250 here. McLocal, you're right on target. We covered this here as like, what kind of orders are these and who's in control? Buyers in control. The caveat was a lot of stops. So, you know, those aren't people, they could be buy stops, true, but mostly it's people getting stopped out. It's all the people that we're watching all this back and forth in here and then looking for the move to start to trend away. It's the people in here getting stopped out, okay, on that first move. Now we're getting our kind of trending move, buyers in control, and then now we're looking for not stop runs in here, because after the stop run, that doesn't matter. That's the big event, no question. However, we want to see if does it accept above this area it just broke out from. That's the question in here. Okay, and we did. Okay, and now what we're looking for buyers in here, and then this is another read of the stops and icebergs, or the stops at least. The read in here, we know these are stops. Do we see a lot of stops in here? No. This is new buying. These are new market buy orders. These are new market buy orders in here. Okay, so we have some insight there. We can see that a smaller kind of structural area here, and then here, right? And then the breakout with the buying up here. That's what we're looking for. And then also we have this. It's really too bad. I mean, this is what we've been looking for, covering, and it failing with all the back and forth. Here, they pulled here, added more here, found buyers looking for higher liquidity. It's as simple as that. Okay, same process. Okay, and then the follow through. Now it's just we do this live all the time. It's just we kind of miss this one in live market. Okay, and we're still calling for higher highs here. Who's in control? Buyers, right? Still looking for this 28 to trade here. Okay, high liquidity here. Now they're not pulling. Okay, they're pulling a little bit. Okay, let's see it again. Higher liquidity here. Be great if it moved up even a little bit more. Kind of a skew in the auction and the order book. See how they pulled though instead. Now let's see if they add though higher. A little bit. No, it's kind of a flip. Okay, and this convolutes things here. We found some sellers followed by high liquidity here, but some of it looks like it transacted and some of it didn't. It was pulled. So some shenanigans, some game playing going on up here. Okay, so yeah, that see how that we'd have to kind of zoom in and see that, and then now we're back down to here. Okay, now they're on the bid here. Okay, great. What's the reaction? Buyers, great. Okay, let's see them come right back up here where it dropped from here, 47, and then they should be able to hit 48 if we get our buyers up here. We can upend these guys. Same process. Here, here, here. Something like that. Okay. Now we can also remember we talked about point of control. This is where we got to get to and accept and trade above. And that's why this is like a pivot point in here. And that's just part of the market structure. Okay, so we retest down here. These guys stay in the order book. Some of it pulled, but they stay in the order book. Now we're looking for our buyers here, and we're looking for a move to 48. And maybe they can even buy more, and we can hit 49.50. And we brought up another point here too, like looking at correlated markets. How are they doing? Obviously this is pretty strong in here. Apple, well, I mean, we noticed this in here, and it was kind of waning here, but now we're getting buyers up here, and now we're getting even more buyers up here. Okay. We can cover another element of auction market theory up here. It's transacting up here. Right? So your profile is transacting up here. Okay, and is it buyers? Then, you know, for it to kind of explore, if it's going to explore and have a finished edge up here and kind of, you know, you see it just kind of trickle off, then it would have explored this area and it would have had exhausted out. But, you know, we're getting an auction up here. Okay, so we're looking for the pop now and try to explore above here. And this is where the order book can be really helpful too. So that's where we read this in here. So are they on the bid? Are they pulling on the offer? It makes it so much easier for buyers to explore that area. And you can see they didn't touch these guys here. They didn't even touch. The best offer went into it. Not one share traded up there. Okay, so there's another context. We got buyers up here. That's looking good in the auction. Okay, but we got it. We need to see that, or in the transactions. Now what we want to see in the auction though, or the limit orders, is not so much up here, or enough buying pressure to trade into and through it. Okay, so there's a reason why, you know, they don't have enough power to trade into this. That's a reason why we kind of trade down to the back down to the bottom of the range here. Okay, let's see if we get some support in here. They're on the bid here. Nope. That's going to be a nice little stop run. Okay, let's see if we get a false breakdown. This is one of my favorites, actually, is the false breakdown or false breakout, and get back up above that. Okay, point of control is kind of shifted in this whole zone in here. It's right here, and here are buyers right now. Okay, so want to see them, and they're above this. We want to see them continue now, and then we'll get back up into here at 10 and maybe higher. Okay, so S&P probably pulled back. We came over here just to look at the correlation. This is looking much better now. Come on, buyers, you got it. They've got control. They're above that point of control. Just some buying volume in here, and maybe a little bit on the bid, and then we, have something for it to trade up into 10 here. Okay, so let's see. This, looking for this to trade to 10. Okay, let's take a look here at S&P. It is following suit. It is up here. We're back up here where we couldn't trade into and above 48. And buying pressure does not look very strong here at all. It looks pretty weak. Pretty weak. All right, so here we are back down to the bottom of the range, and let's take a look at Apple. It too. Again, buying pressure. They had it here. They could do it. Here's one. You'll see that mount another attack here. There is no time frame in Bookmap. It's just streaming best bid and offer. You can see it's divvied up here by the vertical dotted lines. And that changes. We'll zoom out. Now we're looking at 5 minutes between each. So that's how you can kind of relate this to your candlestick chart. So let's take a look at the ES, because I have the candlestick chart. So yeah, here we have 5 minutes between each vertical dotted line. If I zoom out more, I've got 15 minutes. Okay, so I can jump over here at my 15-minute chart, and I understand that this is the breakout here at above 40 that we were watching, and then looking for that. Well, on this chart, we're looking for the continuation up into these sellers up in here. Basically, McLoco's 4250 test. So JK over in Discord, I hope I answered your question. All right, now this is getting interesting in here at these higher levels. And what we're going to read in here is the structure. And it's bearish. Now this, you would think like, that really wouldn't make a difference. It does. It really does. We want to understand that structure. Okay, because we're looking for an attack back up here and try to break out. But if it makes a lower high here, which it did, I'm looking for sellers to try to take it down and make a lower low, and potentially, this becomes that rounding pattern here, or even head and shoulders or something, and then you'll see retest back down into these lower levels. We've seen it a million times. Okay, it is the order flow within here that we're reading. Is these attacks here by these buyers? It's just not enough. They tried here, couldn't do it. Tried here again, couldn't do it. Made a lower low here. Here's a pullback again. So let's see, maybe it pulls back to about here, 46.5 or so. Or, you know, look at the selling streaming in here. Smaller, you know, now this is not much to hang your hat on, but like it's the same ideas, same concepts we've been covering in here. Sellers in here, and it's actually below these buyers here. Okay, so we get a few sellers in here and should get, boom, 42 or 44. And maybe 41 and 40. Tough read today, guys. It's just that didn't follow through. These are some tougher reads. You know, I mean, we're still kind of on this, hanging our hat on. They're trying to hang on to this one here. Well, I thought maybe this would be it, and then we get our sellers, but no, back up again. Okay, see, buyers trying, they're trying. Watch it here. Watch sellers here at 45 3/4. Do we get them? Do we see? Watch this offer here. And it might be a quick move here. There's some exhaustion. There's some transactions, not sellers. Do we get sellers? No. Transactions, not sellers, though. That's not what we're looking for. Look at the bid instead, and the reaction to it has been some buying. Okay. Still not finding sellers down here at this bottom edge of this range here. Okay, what about the opposite scenario? Buyers up here, enough buyers, back up to top of the range, 48-ish, and then 49 liquidity here. Yep, looks like they're going to go for it. And now we're looking for something easy, a quick move up into 49. Right, we're looking to see them try to take it above this area and a quick move to 49. Okay, so that played out, and it's also a quick pullback here.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah, hold on a minute. Guys, I'm sorry. I need to get going here, and we will reconvene on Monday. So anyway, keep your eyes open on this here, and we will we'll meet again at 2 p.m. We'll go over the heat map reading, and I'll also try to see if we can get this webinar with Compass for you guys. All right, so anyway, guys, I got to go. I'm sorry to abruptly leave like this. We will catch up on Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody, and we'll see you then. Okay, thank you.